All right, welcome one and all to the crossover. Today is Friday, October 17th, 2025. Hello to everybody in the chat who is patiently waiting for the show to begin. Hello to Christina, who is in the studio in the stage, or what's that area called back there? Oh, she's backstage. I think that's what it's called. She's backstage. And hello, Josh.
Hello.
Has October arrived in Arizona?
The weather is now officially into the 70s. We are clear for takeoff.
Love that. Love that.
We're outside. We're riding bikes. We're doing the things.
Riding bikes. All right. Well, we start our shows with mail days, and I think you have a few, and I have none.
What? I thought you had one.
No.
Well, someone's got to carry this show. I bought all of these so long ago that they were a nice surprise when they came. All right, let's go. I got 4. 2016 Immaculate Shield Auto Todd Gurley. So this is his second year in the league.
That's
player
fantastic.
worn. These are cool though. These have like some hollow foil. I don't know if you can see that. A little shine to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Could you show that card one more time, please? Sorry, I just maximized your screen. Yeah, I just need I need a closer look at it. Yeah, that's awesome.
There we go. I'll get the hang of this.
Glorious.
This one is the 2013 Black Finite Prism DeMarco Murray. Offensive Player of the Year, 2014.
OPOY, that's what we like.
I like those OPOYs. I got lots of those guys, and they're all cheap. They're like cheaper than the guys with the first team All Pros.
Beautiful.
These are cool. And then now that I'm a DeMarco Murray super collector, I also bought the 2012.
Oh, see, that's
I know you
sneaky.
like these 2012s. Yeah, look,
that's
it's like
sneaky to show a 2013 PSA 10 and then just be like, oh, and by the way, 2012.
Look at the pose. They're like the exact same almost.
Love it.
Different though. This is my first 2012 Finite. They are very slick.
Yeah, they are. They're awesome.
They're sick. And then my big one, very excited about this, 2015 Prism Black Pulsar Todd Gurley. So this is his only one of one from his rookie year Prism release. There's no Black Finite. This is it. He's got this is the base. Sorry, only one of one of the base. I also have the Black Pulsar to the Rookie Revolution insert, which is a die cut.
Love it.
I think he's got like 4 other 101s in Prism, but this is obviously the base set. So that's the top chase card for me for Gurley. I'm happy to get that.
Fantastic. That's it?
I have one other, but it didn't make it in time. It'll be here Monday.
All right. Yeah, it's got the chat fired up. Those are fantastic. All right. Let's get to some questions here so that we have a ton of great questions submitted this week on a variety of topics, and we're gonna grind through these as we wrap this thing up. Hopefully within an hour, roughly. Okay. So first off, we're gonna skip the warm up. We didn't get any light warm up questions this week. We're just jumping straight into the deep end with this question from Iowa Dave Sports Cards, who says, as the founders and faces of Card Ladder, one word. Can we just have a PSA on that really quick, Josh?
Yeah. Oh.
Or Christina.
Okay. Yeah. It's 2 words, guys. Card Ladder.
That's it.
It's not Card Ladder.
It is 2 words. Thank you. Can be confusing. The social media is at Card Ladder. It does get crammed together. Understandable. But for those who care, I understand many people might not even care, but for those who do, anyway, as the founders and faces of Card Ladder, do you ever think about your positions of power within the hobby? Do you ever discuss how to wield that power responsibly? And what does it feel like to direct a product that has become such a critical part of the industry? So let's just pat ourselves in the back here. What do you say to this question, Josh?
I say the most important thing to being a leader is to not change when the power increases. Not change who you are, not change the way you do things. And that's how I think about it. I'm sure you two are the same. We have been consistent with this product from the beginning. We haven't made any changes in how we run things and how seriously we take it, etc. So I don't really think of it in terms of this. Do you?
I don't. Also, we have some smart Alex in the chat who have offered other ways to spell card ladder, maybe a hyphen, maybe an underscore in between. Well done, gentlemen. Yeah, I thought that was a really cool answer. I do agree with that. I'll even I'll take it in a slightly different direction, or maybe even a step further, and say that us doing our jobs properly means we shouldn't be wielding any power. Our job is to, as transparently, as ethically as possible, document the sales of record in this hobby, and to put that information with as much context as is reasonably possible in front of collectors and users, and empower them to empower themselves. It's that if we are doing our job well, we are invisible, and we are just facilitating the flow of information to collectors and helping them collect better. So I don't, and we do talk about that, but we don't talk about it in the context of wielding power or influence or anything like that, because our goal is to not be that. Our goal is to empower collectors and empower users of the product, and just to do our best job that we possibly can to put accurate data in front of people and give them as many tools as possible to enjoy collecting and to follow the market and so on and so forth. Yeah, exactly.
I saw that.
Empower them to empower themselves. So
What do you think about that quote? What do you think about that quote? A true leader remains the same the more power they get.
That's great. That's great.
That should go on like the wall of a elementary school classroom.
Right. That could get laminated and slapped on one of those stone walls.
Yeah. When people ask us about like the card letter value, or adding up the prices for platforms, or these kinds of questions, it's like you can recreate any of this stuff yourself, you guys. It's that we're just stewards of the data. We're not trying to influence or push in any one direction. We're just presenting the facts.
Exactly. And I'm sure we all would attest to this, and others who are in the realm of entrepreneurship would probably attest to it too, that when you enter into providing a service to the public or providing a service to customers, that every customer, every member of the public is your boss in a certain sense. You answer to them. And
right.
we answer to a lot of users and a lot of customers and a lot of members of the hobby. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. If we're doing our job well, we're just helping collectors have a better time in the hobby, and we should be invisible and wielding no influence, and just making it a little bit easier to get access to information. So, all right. Next question comes from Ragnar Cards, who says, "Please explain to me what China means in the hobby, particularly in regard to massive basketball sales. When we see a nonsensical sale in football, we often see terms like repacker thrown around, and that makes sense to me. But I don't entirely understand China's influence on the basketball market. Are there extremely wealthy super collectors there that only like basketball, or are these financial investments from people who don't actually care about sports and just as easily could shift to football or Disney princesses?"
I think I wouldn't say China. I would say Asia, because you and I know a lot of big time collectors from other countries in Asia, not just China. And it's definitely a difference between basketball and the other sports, because those guys that we know are specifically basketball, and Asia has a big basketball following. We know that every time we see videos of NBA superstars over in China, it's just like a massive, showing. They really love their NBA stars, and that may change in the future. They may get excited about other sports, but there's a lot of people in Asia. It's a large pool of buyers.
Yes, it is. And before I build on that, I want to harken back to something Cage said that I glanced over. He says, "With great power comes great responsibility." Episode title potential there. Thank you, Cage. That's good. That's good. I love dad humor, and that's granddad humor. So building on top of that, Josh, in replying to Ragnar here, who I think is just genuinely, I mean, I bet there's some rhetorical flair to this question, but I think he's also just genuinely asking because he's not a basketball collector. And so there is Ragnar, maybe unfortunately, there is substance to the idea that Asia has well-capitalized basketball collectors. And it's not just that they are end users either. It's not just that they are end collectors of cards. They also are hugely instrumental in breaking these boxes. And so every big release, whether it's the Flawless basketball release that just came out or Prism earlier this year, they are breaking a lot of product over there, and a lot of big cards get pulled over there, and then they migrate their way here eventually. At least some of them do, and some of them just never leave. And then the same thing, we break a lot of cards here, and a lot of their buyers are picking up stuff immediately as it gets pulled on camera. And one of the most recent Jokic cards I picked up was a Prism Black from a product that just got ripped. It was a few months ago I picked it up, and it was opened in China. And the dealer who sold me the card, he bought it through his connections to breakers in China and then sold it to me. So I have personal experience with that. And in particular, several players I collect, Jokic and Jordan and Luka, have big collector bases in Asia, and they do compete for cards, and they make it tough. And then the thing that compounds the problem too is once those cards do get over into Asia, it's that much harder to get them back over here. Another recent Asia purchase I had was my first ever Michael Jordan 1 of 1 came from Japan. That was earlier this year too. So there's just a few examples of cards that are very near and dear to my collection that came from Asia just a few months ago. Yes, Christina, I see you have joined the stage.
Yes, I stormed the stage. I just wanted to address this now in case someone clips this Asia section out and it makes the rounds or goes viral or something in Asia. I'm looking for the 2020 Prism neon green fast break out of 5 Maxi Kleba. According to my
All right, thank you, Christina, for helping us. Just in case this goes viral.
I thought that was going to be some hilarious protection of our company legal speak, and then
Nope. Just for that one person who might not know.
That was funny.
Just in case this goes viral, yeah, that would be the first time. But just in case. All right, come back up. What else?
Oh, that was it. There was no legal speak. I didn't care about protecting the company at that point. Right. I saw my moment and I wanted to claim it for my.
Get out of here. All right, up next.
Some people might see this and be like, "Oh, Chris is doing this for the show. It's fun." This is how they are in real life, you guys. This is
not an act, folks.
This is very genuine. Accurate.
This is genuine irritability. Yep, you just saw it. It is authentic, everybody. All right. Let's go to the next question from Jeff Rose Jordans, who says, I listened to y'all's most recent appearance on Stacking Slabs. It really spoke to me. I find myself going through a similar state of mind currently in my hobby journey. Like Chris, I'm wanting more rare cards, and like Josh, I've been drawn away from my primary PC player to some of my favorite fantasy football players from the 2000s. My question for both of you is this: when pursuing truly rare cards of players that are not Michael Jordan, LeBron, etc., and therefore not often up for sale, or even in some cases have their location known, how would you recommend unearthing them? I've been posting in Facebook collector groups. I've been making story posts. I've been posting in blowouts forums, and I feel like that's all I can do. And yet the Gem Masters from 1999, Rocket, Ishmael, and David Palmer may forever elude me, but I guess that's part of the fun. Keep up the good content. You've been on a generational run lately.
The fact that he's asked the question in the way that he has makes me think he's going to be all right. He's going down the what I would call obsessive routes of posting to all these random places, trying to unearth stuff. That's the best you can do, is just keep at it. I've been collecting Gurley for 5 or 6 years now, and I just now unearthed his Prism Black Pulsar. It just takes a bit of patience and time. This is a marathon.
That was a long wait, man. Had you ever seen that Gurley
never
rookie year Prism base set Black Pulsar 1 of 1 parallel? You'd never seen that, never even saw a sign of it anywhere. And after years and years, it finally came.
How many years?
I started buying him pretty early, actually. Maybe Man, it might be more than that. I think I started buying him in like 2019. Yeah, 6 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
And it's
next
raw.
year I'll get the neon green.
Yeah, 6 years.
Okay,
And
one more
and it's
year.
raw. It's raw. So I had no idea where it was.
You're still
Yeah.
early, Christina. And describe the sensation when that card showed up.
I think I messaged you immediately. I was like, "This is it, bro." Did I talk about the mega bid yet? I'm mega bid though.
No, tell us about the megabid, please. It's hilarious.
I don't think I want to say what my bid was or
No,
like the
no.
ratio because I think it gives away some of my strategy.
Yeah.
But the final price was like 4,000, something like that. My bid was higher.
You were not going to lose that card.
No.
And you were actually traveling at the time that the auction was ended, so you made precautions to make sure a bid would be placed.
Yeah, just in case like I was somewhere that didn't have service or I didn't want to take any chances.
Yeah.
So keep at it. That's the answer, right? Is there anything else that he missed that I missed?
Oh, God, I thought that was a great read of the question. I was sort of trying to give it a direct, literal answer, and you were like, bigger picture, dude, you're doing the right stuff. Your process is good. I sense the anxiety, but don't worry. There is hope to be had here.
I think the anxiety is the good part of it. He's anxious and he wants it bad, so he'll keep at it.
That means he's not going to miss it when his opportunity strikes. He'll be ready.
Yeah.
The only thing I would add is that he's said that he's been posting to Facebook groups, making stories and posting in blow up. But what are you posting? Are you posting wanted ads? Because if you are, that's fine. Yeah, but that's, I don't know that that's very fruitful. You could hit the lottery there. But I think the indirect method is better. I think where I've had success smoking out cards is not by putting wanted ads out there, but by sharing cards that are very similar that I already own and just showing them off and forming relationships with people who message me and say, "Hey, cool card, is that for sale?" Then I might say, "No, but do you have any for sale?" That's worked for me several times this summer. People messaging me asking me if my card's for sale. I say no. I turn around. I say, "Do you have any like this that are for sale?" And they do. So there's that side of this, which is that just sharing cards and networking and sort of doing things more indirectly can extend your reach.
He is touching on a thread here of like, he even mentions a couple of players that are like really niche, obscure players. Like the more obscure the player, he's saying like the more obscure the player, the harder it is to find that stuff because people just, they don't want to sell them because maybe it's not worth it value wise, or, they're buried with collectors or they haven't been found or, whatever the reason is, they haven't been graded or whatever. So the more obscure it does get tougher. So you have to have more patience.
Indeed. Christina knows about that. Okay.
That's exactly right, dude. If that was Luca, she would have found 4 of them.
Or like Cage says, there's somebody in this chat right now who owns all 5 Maxi Greens and a fun little $200 Christian McCaffrey. Oh, that'd be something. All right. Next question from Drake's PC. I enjoyed the Card Ladder Confidential and the Hojcast this week, and it prompted the following. Other than laziness, why is it that so many people let the market dictate players and or types of cards that people collect? How would the hobby be different if people allowed collecting habits to not be dictated by the market?
You think he's saying just being dictated by the prices, like the comp world? Is that what he's saying?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's just easier, man. Like when you're new and you're not sure what to do, the easiest thing is to go to the sales history and sort by price. Go to eBay, sort by price,
100%.
It's just like the quickest way to figure out what other people are buying and is the quote unquote best.
100%, man. Price, they're in the realm of finance and the stock market. There's the efficient markets hypothesis. It's generally this idea that the price of something is all encompassing. It contains all relevant information, so things are properly priced. But that's an ideal, and it's more applicable to stocks. It's very difficult to find that it's actually applicable in cards because there is such little reason to believe that the buyers and sellers of these cards have anything approximating perfect knowledge, and therefore their market behavior doesn't encompass perfect knowledge either. And but the market is nonetheless a great heuristic. It's a great way to sort of intuit sentiment and just the general property holds that what people are willing to pay up the most for is in some way expressing or summarizing or serving as a proxy for general demand. But I think the more savvy and sophisticated collector is going to think a lot more carefully and deeply about it.
Plus, I think a lot of people are, when they buy something, their hope is that they may want the card in their collection. That may be true, but they're also thinking, how can I maximize the future value of this? And the easiest way to do that is something that's already valuable. And in general, stuff that's already valuable is more likely to become more valuable than something else is to leap into this category. So it's less risk, I guess.
Definitely. And, comps have different levels of importance to different types of cards. Like if we're talking about the 2017 Prism Mahomes PSA 10 that sells 2-3 times a week, comps there are certainly indicators of market sentiment. That if the card transacts enough, there's roughly 1,000 copies of that card in a PSA 10. That there is certainly something to be learned, a lot to be learned from the price history and the comps. But if we're talking about a one of one that has sold once in 10 years, or if we're talking about a rare serial numbered card that maybe it just entices two bidders to go nuts over it, and there's really nobody else who might be interested in it, or there's new entrants who really aren't super sophisticated. That's the main concern I think that I have, is that especially as like comps continue to increase in prominence in our hobby and they continue to be more and more influential, that the idea isn't lost on me. The concern isn't lost on me that when I'm relying on comps to inform what I'm willing to pay for something, or how I'm assessing or ranking cards for my own personal collection and sort of deciding what I want to go after, am I really just letting, what if a comp is just determined by, two newer folks to the hobby who are well capitalized, who are trying to spend a bunch of money really quick? What if they just kind of duke it out for a card? They set a really high comp. Should the whole market change? Should my collecting preferences change? Should the hierarchy and how the hobby perceives cards, should that all change just because two new guys with new money came in and just sort of bid crazy for a card just because it happened to be available? Like, I'm probably not going to follow that comp.
You don't think Klay Thompson's a top 5 player all time now?
Right. One of the infinite examples. So,
I think it's a good point.
Yeah, I think this is characteristic of this current bull run. The last bull run was just these. We saw, cards like Lucas Prism Silver PSA 10 get up to $10,000, and like this, people were just, the demand was and the money was flying at cards like this, commodity cards. And this time around, it's being directed and flying at other types of cards. But the issue, the concern is still the same. So, and what it really boils down to me is that, am I going to let the market, especially if the market is being dictated by new participants, am I going to let a few new guys with new money set comps and change the way I look at things and change which cards I rank and prioritize and how I think about collecting? Am I going to want to go along with that? Is that how I collect, or is it not? Or am I going to look to substance outside of market prices to inform what I value as a collector? That's kind of how I would sum it up in a nutshell. All right. Let's go on to Collectibles Cards Clutter, who says, could you please discuss the positives and the negatives of making hobby goals so public? Using your Michael Jordan 1-of-1 quest as an example, the positives are your hobby friends will look far and wide for all the cards you want, but the negatives are some will hold the knowledge against you and try to squeeze more money out of you because they know how much you want the cards. Was this a deliberate decision you made to publicize your new quest, and did you think about the pros and the cons of it, or did you not even consider the positives and the negatives of it? And this is applicable, I think, to something that we all do as collectors. Josh, myself, Christina, plenty of collectors in chat, plenty of people are listening. When we share the cards we're collecting to Instagram, when we share it to social media, when we talk about the stories, and then when we talk about why we're so excited about those cards, we are broadcasting to people, and especially to perceptive people, that this is an area of things that we are interested in, and that we are potentially customers if other people get to these cards before we do, that they can turn around and sell them to us. What do you think about that idea, Josh? Do you ever hesitate before publicizing the cards that you're currently picking up?
I would prefer more cards that I want to come out than to like maximize every dollar I save by keeping it a secret. That's the trade-off. Plus, like, we're in the space. It's fun to share cards. It's like That's a big part of it. I couldn't see myself like hiding it for this long or whatever. Then it kind of seems disingenuous too when all of a sudden it's like, hey, by the way, I've got 50 new football cards I didn't tell anyone about.
Yeah, dude. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna sit on the cards for like 3 years, and
Yeah.
then like all the
No mail day.
like Josh just went just 3 years of just like nope, no mail days, guys. And it's what you said, dude. It's fun, man. We're having fun here. Like strategy is counterbalanced by enjoyment, and there is quite a bit of enjoyment for at least some of us in sharing our cards and talking about them and discussing things. And also the point here is great, right? There are pros and cons, and the pros and cons have been enumerated very aptly by Collectibles Cards Clutter. But one of the pros that was overlooked is that developing ideas as we go solicits feedback and lets people sort of chime in and help us learn things and go back and forth. And I find like I am fully aware and intentionally when I share what I'm collecting, whether it's Jokic, whether it's Jordan 1/1s or whatever I'm doing, I find that I get good feedback from people when I discuss it, and people can, I don't have a perfect perspective on this stuff. People can show me sort of like, well, I don't really like that, or, oh, this is a good idea, or what do you think about this? I find myself constantly learning from other collectors, constantly. And so just contributing things to the marketplace of ideas is a worthwhile and fun, really fun part of collecting too. What do you think about that, Josh?
Yeah, we get the immediate feedback loop, It's like when I was doing only finites, then I opened it up to vinyls, and some people push back on that. You just get this like instant reaction, and you can kind of fine tune the balance between what you thought was the right path versus what other people might think. It's a good test case.
Yeah, exactly. All right. AP Cards 23 says, I appreciate you scallywags. It's anyone's guess, but do you expect rare Panini cards to disappear forever with the rollout of Topps, as only collectors will remain? Or will the opposite be true and they initially get sold off to fund people's move into Topps? And just to be clear, in case I read that with a weird intonation, what he's saying here is that now that Topps is holding the license and there aren't any new Panini products coming out, that the hype and the dealing and the flipping and the procuring these cards as they come out of new breaks, that a lot of that's going to dissipate, and that really the people who are going to be hunting Panini cards at this point is going to be mostly collectors who are pursuing and gobbling those up. And so he's sort of asking, so what are those collectors going to do? Are they going to liquidate some of these Panini cards so they can start moving into buying Topps cards too? Or what do you think?
It's good thoughts. I'm not sure I can predict exactly here, but I do like the thought of some of these rare Panini cards getting locked up because it's not a big topic in the influencer space anymore, because it's going to be focused on Topps and people like what's coming out of breaks and people getting allocation. We've talked about that last week, where a lot of these content creators are going to shift all their focus over to Topps. So there will be Panini on the back burner. So will it be more just collectors kind of stashing it away because there's not people talking about it? That's interesting. I think it'd be hard to compare that to 2009 because we didn't have near as much of a social media presence, but we're going to find out.
Agreed. I think there is substance here. I think that it is a novel insight that there might be reason to think some of these Panini cards are going to start popping up for sales. People catch the hype bug that's surrounding these new products, and or just genuinely are fascinated by and want to participate with them. But the other point that I wanted to make here is that the card market, the funding of cards, is not a zero-sum game. It's very much like any other large markets, especially a consumer market or a financial market, where there's constantly new money coming in. Sort of like the analogy I think of is that, sometimes I just ask myself, how does the stock market just keep going up? A very simple question. How does it keep going up? Well, one of the reasons why it keeps going up is because there are many people who hold jobs, and as a matter of routine, before they even touch the money that's in their paycheck, a percentage of it is allocated to stocks. So there's this constant flood of money coming into the stock market from people's paycheck every 2 weeks or every month or however frequently they're paid. It's just constantly dumping in. And from that point of view, one actually wonders, why doesn't the stock market go up more? Do you have something on that, Josh?
I just was thinking like even more than people's paychecks, it's like the 401ks. Like a lot of companies will like do it for you automatically. Like it's almost like an institutionalized, forced method of saving into the stock market.
Exactly. It's just this never-ending flow of new money into stocks. And it's sort of that way with cards too, like when I do get a paycheck, right away, I'm just like spending that money. Usually I've already spent the money and then I'm just waiting for it to come in so I can, get the card. So like it's not a zero-sum game. All right. It's not a zero-sum game. People are making money and some of that money does get allocated to cards. So there's constantly new money coming in. So that if people don't want to sell their stuff, at least some people don't necessarily need to, but people will always be making moves, and I think it's definitely a question worth asking. I thought, Josh, you summed that up nicely. All right, from WNBAcards.com, what makes someone a great collector? Is it their collection value? Is it their curative process? Is it their curative prowess, or is it something else?
I think you and I are pretty good at like spotting what we consider to be a great collector from Instagram grids, looking at their page. And it's hard to summarize it exactly, but I think it's like you definitely know it when you see it, but to put it into words, it's like someone who you can tell has a clean focus on a specific thing, and they've been doing it for a really long time and they're passionate about that thing. That to me makes a great collection. Like if I go to Brett's page and it's just like gold prism after gold vinyl after black finite of this Colts PC and his Pacers, you could just kind of see he has some focus. He's got some lane that he's staying to, and he's very, very strong at that thing. That to me makes a great collector. Because he's great at collecting that thing. He's great at collecting Indiana sports.
Completely agree. Collecting. So first of all, I would take it this way. I would say what makes someone a great collector is that they have a great collection, which those two things seem to be saying the same thing, but it's slightly different. A great collection stands apart from the person who put it together. So a great collector is first and foremost somebody who puts together a great collection. Now, what makes a collection great? Well, this is something that I come to believe, I harp on, and I believe it more and more as time passes. A collection is an artistic expression. And just like somebody could make a wonderful, very popular, very relatable song using a huge, beautiful studio and an orchestra section and, the best mixing engineer in the world and the most highly paid producer and great distribution, and it's just completely promoted and marketed, and it's the theme song for a great commercial and a movie, and like someone could make a great, beautiful, relatable piece of music using lots of resources, lots of big flashy things, and everybody could enjoy that song and think it's great. But by the same token, somebody could make a great song by just pulling up their laptop, opening a music audio software program like Fruity Loops, which is a popular one of the past. I don't know if people still use it, but they used it in my day. And they could just load up a couple of drums, maybe an 808 kick, a snare, put together a little drum beat, nothing fancy, something that they just came up with at 2:00 in the morning, jot down a few lyrics, put it together, make a little song, maybe hum a little melody, just come up with something rhythmic and interesting and fun to listen to. And using the bare minimum of resources can make a song that is just as relatable, just as beautiful, just as identifiable as a great piece of music as something that had all the resources and the mass production behind it. In the same way a collection works. You can create as an artist a beautiful collection using the most minimal of pieces, or you could do it using a wealth of resources or somewhere in between. But it's about the identity of the collection itself. If the collection is great, then the person who made it follows that they are a great collector. But a collection is a work of art, and art can be created in unpredictable ways. There is no formula to it. And it lies in the ingenuity of each collector to create that. Just some thoughts there. All right.
You're cooking tonight. You're on like four teas, I can tell.
I'm on so many green teas.
I feel like I'm playing this podcast at 1.5.
Dude, people
you
who
ever
normally
been-
listen at the fast speed are going to be very shocked.
Have you ever been at a sporting event and then like checked your phone to see if the box score and you're like, but I'm here. This doesn't make any sense.
Yes, I used to do that all the time.
That's
I'd
how
be
I
like,
feel
oh,
right now.
I can't look at this. I can't look at this because like I'm gonna ruin the. Oh wait, I'm here.
That's how I feel right now because I'm like, I'm listening to this podcast at a very fast, but I'm in the podcast.
Nice. All right, let's keep going here because we are going to get a lot of questions in by 11. All right, so WB Gelman says, in a feat of stupidity last week, a sports card content creator decided to cape for the upcharge that PSA adds to high-grade cards that have added value, and was swiftly met by a deluge of laughs and eye rolls. The question is not whether this is a horrible take. It is whether or not there is such a thing as bad publicity. Will influencers white knighting for PSA's corporate policy bring them any benefit whatsoever? You are amused. There's a look of amusement.
Yeah, I just don't know how to respond to this.
Oh, well, I mean, first of all, the question stands on its own. Like it's as much a statement as it is a question. And but there is something to be said here. And I'll give a little take, and then I'll see if you have one to follow on. So, on the topic of the PSA upcharge, all right, the PSA upcharge being the thing that I think has people perplexed and critical is sort of the idea of that. Of course, somebody might say, well, if I get a PSA upcharge, that means my card graded well and its value increased. But that doesn't mean that anybody is going to say, I can't wait to give back some of that value. That at that point, it starts to feel a little unnatural. So it's fine to say, okay, well, nice. I'm glad that my card graded well. But it's hard to believe that anyone would be genuinely excited that then they give some of that value back. Now so in other words, the analogy that I kept thinking of is like, I would love to sit courtside at an NBA game. I never have. I would love to sit courtside, but I'm not going to be happy that it's going to cost me $5,000 or $10,000 to do it. I'm not going to be like, oh, great. I'm so thrilled that this cost me so much money to get this great experience. No, I want the great experience and I want it at the cheapest possible price. And because money, I have a limited supply of money and I'd like to be able to allocate it to things that I really like and enjoy. So I think the thing that's tricky about the PSA upcharge topic is that it's believable if I say I'm not thrilled that I have to pay it, but I'm glad my card graded well. It starts to defy belief if I'm like, I can't wait to pay this. What do you say?
Yeah, I say I obviously agree with everything you just said. I say that we all signed up for the same rules from PSA. We know this is a possibility. We know that if the upcharge comes, it means it got a good grade. We know that increases the value. We probably made that money back, etc. The issue here is the cringy method of determining the best way to flex is to be happy about burning money. That's the part that's like throwing people off. It's like, exactly. I would celebrate getting the 10. I think we all accept getting the 10 is something that makes us all happy as a collector community. You got this card, it gemmed. We're happy for you. But to say like, I'm happy I'm losing money is odd.
Exactly. All right. So the next question we get comes from Drake, and he makes reference to Nat's infamous blowout post where he's
which is making the rounds for like the 80th time,
where Nat is bemoaning paying the upcharge. And I don't have special access to Nat's mind, but I would bet that even today he's not happy to pay the upcharge. I don't think he's happy about it.
Dude, he's complained to us about like how PSA gives him grades he's not happy about. He's like, they give me a 5.
Now, people can rightfully have an opinion and say, I don't like that business practice, or I don't want to engage with I don't want to grade cards that might get an upcharge. I don't feel like it's right, or I don't like the way that it's enforced, or I feel like cards are being held hostage, or that this is an unfair system. That's people completely have the right to express that point of view. And I think, the folks at PSA are listening, and I think they are interested in hearing customer feedback on that. And, but by the same token, like you said, Josh, I mean, this This is known in advance, so people are knowingly signing up for it. That doesn't mean that they have to like it, but it's
Right.
part and parcel of the game. And sort of this whole thing is the market settling, and people have discussed ad nauseum that one of the nice things about PSA, especially for higher valuable cards, is the guarantee, and sort of how much of this upcharge is providing the funding for that guarantee to exist. And there's lots of nuances and things that are involved in that topic. And I don't want to or need to rehash it here. We've talked about it over the years. We've talked about it. But people voicing concern or displeasure, like Nat once did, completely healthy, part of an open exchange of ideas. And it's honestly a good thing. I think PSA would much prefer that customers are voicing how they feel about these things so that they can think about policy making in the future, rather than if everybody just sat there quietly and bottled up their rage.
Yeah, to defend Nat a little bit though, like he posted that a long time ago, and this is like some cancel culture stuff where it's like, let me dig up this old thing you said where you don't believe that thing anymore. And it's like, well, yeah, now he's like the CEO of that company. Of course he's going to change his mind. Like, are we surprised by this? But you could go on Blowout and find a post where I have like paragraphs and paragraphs saying grading is a scam and nobody should ever grade. And now I'm on my live like, I got a 10, everybody. You know, it's like, you can find that stuff about me.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, this boils down to something very simple, right? Like, and something very relatable that I think Nat agrees with, you agree with, Christina agrees with, I agree with, Nick in the chat agrees with, everybody I think resonates with this. We want more money to buy cards. And we want to give as little money as possible to the services and anything else that takes money away from our ability to buy cards. Like, I don't like upcharges, and I would love to get my cards graded for free. Could I, why not? Why stop there? I would love to have my cards graded for free. Now, the question is, what's the reasonable middle here? That's what's a reasonable price, and when does it go beyond reason? And I look forward to hearing people's opinions on that. And I hate myself that paying the upcharge is tough, man. It's a sting. But anyway, yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, all the services of the hobby would be free, and I would have a money tree. I have as much money as possible to buy cards. So I understand. In other words, I understand where people are coming from. People don't want to pay the upcharge. People don't want to pay anything. They want to have as much money left over for adding cards to their collection. I can relate to that. Let's move on to this next question from Drake's PC, who says, the story of the week seems to be around PSA's upcharges. More specifically, several people have pulled Nat Turner's post from Blowout, which we just talked about. Now that Nat is an owner and investor in the brand, his opinion has seemingly changed, since it doesn't appear the upcharges are going away. For each of you, okay, so here's where Drake's question sort of diverges here. For each of you, what is one opinion about the hobby that you held as a collector that has now changed since you have become a business owner?
Oh, I have a pretty good one on this. I was thinking about this for a while today because this is a tough question. Mine was, my opinion before was that, you're going to like this one, was that we needed like a big marketing push in the hobby to like bring all these new people in and make it so exciting for everybody. And now that I'm a business owner, I'm like, I'm good. We've got enough marketing. We've got enough people. Shrink the hobby, but also like, it's trading cards. It's a hobby. Like, it's just, I feel like now that I'm on the business side, we've just like overdone it in terms of like marketing and all these like fancy ways to bring people in. I just don't think it's that complicated. It's just like, post the data, answer customers, listen to what they say, post cool cards. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Terrific. Yeah. That's been a part of my general pivot too. I don't know. I'm terrible at questions like this. I don't have a good answer.
It's hard.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I will like let this marinate over like the next week, and if I come up with something good, I'll DM Drake or maybe make reference to it. But it's likely that I won't. And it would probably take somebody sort of throwing my hypocrisy in my face for me to recognize it.
I'm just glad I remembered what I thought of earlier today. I remember, I just was like, what did I think of earlier? Oh yeah. Good. Yeah,
that's good. That is quite good. I don't know. But by the same token, I'm not quite sure if many opinions have changed as a consequence of being a business owner. I've certainly had opinions change, but I'm just I don't know. Okay. Well, one thing I used to be much more combative against the comment section when I was just a freely operating collector. And now that I'm a business owner, I'm much more sympathetic to the comment section, and I'm much more sympathetic to the I say this with affection, the curmudgeons, the that crowd. I'm much more. It makes a lot more sense to me. I get it. Partially because owning a business in the hobby means like really taking all feedback very seriously and sort of seeing the merit in all of it. And I wasn't maybe properly incentivized to see the merit when I was just a freestanding collector. But as a business owner, I've really come to take points of view from all collectors very seriously.
Because the curmudgeons are they're the ones that stay through multiple eras.
Absolutely. They just want cards to be as cheap as possible. I mean, that's very relatable.
Like they're mad at the flybys and the prices going up because they're having to pay more and they have to deal with it and they have to wait for the market to correct and for those people to leave. But they're the ones that stick through these different ups and downs. So like they're actually the better customer.
Yeah, exactly. And let me read something from the chat and to give an example of like, I appreciate this point of view too. Okay, MW says Chris and Josh are also PSA paid. Sorry, Christina, you're not getting PSA paid. They are muzzled like good puppies. Most of the hobby is stupid, so they won't critically think and understand complex discussion. Anywho, and that's fine. I think it's just in case it hasn't been made clear in the many episodes preceding this or during this discussion. Yes, we aren't paid by the company of PSA, but Card Ladder is owned by the same parent company that owns PSA. And so if you feel like because of that our opinions are disqualified or should be discounted or should be contextualized, that is a completely valid point of view. And I just wanted to actually shed light on that and point it out and sort of make sure the audience is aware of that as well, that we are who we are, and we are subject to bias or not properly analyzing things or making mistakes just as anybody else is. Or we're especially prone to it here because of our interest, because we own a business in the space, because we are under the Collectors Universe umbrella and so forth. All right. Next up here, we're coming up on the end, and I would love to get through many more questions here. Vegas Sports Collection.
We can go a little longer. Let's get some of these.
Okay. All right. Vegas Sports Collection says, please discuss the accuracy of comps with rarely sold one-of-ones. PSA recent offers of 15% below the comp are insulting. Okay, so we're just beating up on PSA from a number of angles here, but that's a testament to how ubiquitous the use of PSA is. What do you think about this, about on one-of-ones that the PSA offer program is still coming in under that comp, just sort of as a mechanistic offer?
We're saying it's coming below the comp and there's not a recent comp, or how do I contextualize this? Like I have to look at the example.
My understanding of it was this. Imagine that there is an Austin Eckler. I have no idea why I picked him. Black Finite one-of-one that just sold for $1,000 and I own it. And I grade it with PSA, and then PSA or it's already, I don't know. I'm not, let's just for the sake of the hypothetical, I grade with the PSA, and then PSA comes in and they offer me 15% less than the comp. They see the comp, they offer me, and this question is sort of saying like, that's not how one-of-ones work. One-of-ones aren't these liquid things where, like it's a one-of-one. Like if somebody wants it, they need to pay more than the last comp. I think that's the essence of that question.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like an automated system. It's not like they're looking at it and juicing it because they see it's a one-on-one. They're just like going by the comps. It's just not like as it's not trying to be offensive. It's just the computer spitting out a number,
Exactly. I think that's the key to sort of understanding this, is that it's an algorithm, and certainly we wouldn't want to deny anybody the opportunity to sell their one-of-one if they wanted to suddenly take it at a 50, if they want to sell it for 50% under comps or whatever, however the algorithm is calculating that. But you're free to say no.
Maybe this is some good feedback for PSA where like, let me prompt it to show me the offer, because it might like offend me as a collector that you're like, I just graded one of my PC cards and you're like throwing this strange lowball offer at me. It makes me feel worse about the card I just graded that I had no intention of ever selling anyways, and now you're just making me feel bad.
Okay, so that's good. So that's like great business insight, and that's why it's great that these opinions get made public, so that like I would be I would be fairly confident that nobody at PSA was thinking like, hey, this is making people like not enjoy their cards, and so that might spark change in certain situations.
My recommendation would be for the person who wrote this question, who I can't see because it's like super small on my screen, have them reach out to PSA and make this like feedback known.
Yes.
Because as pointed out previously, Card Ladder is a separate company from PSA. So
Correct.
like we don't have power over that, guys. But I would be pissed if like you offered me 50% of a Maxi Kleepa card, which is already worth $5, and I just graded it, and you're like, oh, here's $250 for your trash card. Like,
Exactly. Like when I send this girly in, they're gonna offer me like $3,500 because they saw my comp for $4,000. It's like, what the hell? I'm not trying to sell this back to you I just paid $4,000.
Okay, there have been several comments that have just been great in the YouTube, and this one right here is insane. This comment is insane. I just have to read this. Okay, this comes from an account called Peanut Butter, who says the crossover needs to be rebranded to the Spreadsheet, the Spectrum, and the Spectacles. The 3 S's. There's the Spectacles. So I think that's how or maybe I'm the Spectrum and Josh is the Spreadsheet. I don't know, but
you're definitely the Spreadsheet.
I'm the Spreadsheet. You're the Spectrum.
I think it means like the autistic.
You are an autist, sir.
That's like a good thing in 2025, isn't it?
Undiagnosed, but something is not right.
I think that's the highest praise.
Is it like my voice or something?
Collector.
It's like my voice or something?
Maybe.
This is great. I would love for that to be my thing. Let's go.
That's your new brand.
Elon Musk is like the richest guy in the world, and that's like his thing. Let's go.
Yeah, that's one of those rare, just insane, just unbelievable. All right.
Okay, Peanut Butter is saying you got it right. Like,
yes.
You're the Spreadsheet, Josh is the Spectrum, and I'm the Spectacles.
But I need you to explain the Spectrum.
I'm pretty sure he means Peanut Butter means you got it right. Like it's the autist spectrum.
Yeah. This is looking up for me today.
He's saying he misses the rocking chair, Josh. When you used to rock in the chair. I don't even know if you knew that you did it, but like while you were, you not that ridiculous, but like you would slowly rock like while.
Hall of Fame comment.
You want to know why? My mom was a big Tylenol fan. In the 80s, in the late 80s.
Yeah. Well, now here we see. These are the results of a pregnancy on Tylenol is a Hall of Fame 1-of-1 collection of fantasy football studs. That's fantastic. All right. Just had to honor that comment here. Okay.
You're the one with the name Peanut Butter, so calm down.
Yeah. But this is also, guys, why if you're listening to this like after the fact, or if you're watching this after the fact, you need to start watching it live with us because the chat is hilarious. But
the difficult thing is that it's Friday night at midnight. It's like Friday at midnight.
Well, what are they doing?
Rearrange your whole lives, folks.
Everyone is spending their money on cards. They're not trying to go out drinking on a Friday night. That's card budget money, okay? Yeah. You know you're just watching some Netflix show you don't actually enjoy. Like, just tune in to us live instead.
Isn't there a autistic dating show on Netflix? Maybe they're getting their fix with me.
HB says you spent the summer with Wembanyama and the Monks. We will not confirm or deny that. All right. From T Hall 313, please discuss limitations in the hobby, namely money limitations and storage space limitations. And how do you respond to them? And can they be a positive?
I can't get past this Spectrum thing. This show's cooked.
Dude, I'm a cell in an Excel document.
I'm cooked. Please, some guy named Peanut Butter called me an autist. My life is taking a turn. I'm about to call my mom. Hold on.
Okay, all right.
Well, I just
Please,
want to
this
know,
guy-
like, is spectacles like the glasses, or
There
is
she
it
goes.
me?
I was waiting for this. This was I was waiting for.
Or is it like she's making a spectacle of herself? Like,
Double entendre, perhaps.
yeah, I'm kind of worried that it's because of the latter and not the former.
Yes.
Oh, that was the best timing. She's like, "That's hold on. So before we move on, I got to know about the spectacles."
She's like,
Shit.
Josh, fine, but hold on a minute here.
And Chris is
I'm
over
named
there like,
after eyeglasses.
yeah. Chris made out
Or
like a bandit. It's like his
drama.
thing.
That's the whole point. Is it glasses or is it drama? Like, am I the drama? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Dude, peanut butter just dropped the bomb, and got out. Smart.
Dude, peanut butter is an alias. I have no doubt.
Yeah, no, peanut
right.
butter is like fucking stiff or like Mo or somebody just like, I'm gonna fuck with them right now. Like,
Dude, the creativity, the alliteration, all S's. It was special. It was a special moment. All
and
right.
then SP, we're the SP. Like, we should just rename our show SP.
What's the P?
Spreadsheets, spectrum, spectacle.
Spectacle. Oh, wow.
It's SP.
Smart.
SP. Good.
That's the first time I've ever been called autistic in my life. What would you do if someone just decided to call you that today?
Someone
What would
literally
you do?
called me autistic on a YouTube video yesterday. It was it was our friend Jahan, who's at the rain or something about the Rain Man or something. So I take it as I you can either take it in stride or just have some SP3 SPX.
Well, as
or-
a frequent user of X, I'm pretty sure it's a good thing in 2025.
Yeah. I just the creativity that went into that. It's actually a testament to our audience, I think.
He was just sitting there like just cooking that up.
There's Jahan. There you go, Jahan. There you go, Jahan. Yes. All right. Let's keep going here. What do you think about limitations in the hobby?
Well, my autistic brain has no limitations. It's just limitless. Please, you ever seen that movie?
Yes, I have.
Please
Yeah,
discuss
so,
limitations of the hobby. Money, storage space. That's like the whole what? Dude, I
Yeah.
could fill a library full of stuff. I mean, there's no storage space limitation.
Yeah, right. I mean, there are people who have like 100,000 plus cards. So
Oh, really?
I sort of get that. So here's how I take this. Here's how I attack the question. If I had unlimited money and I owned every card ever made, there's nothing fun in that.
Right.
So the limitations are key. And I think that's what this question is sort of getting at. And working within our limits is and maximizing what we can do. And this sort of ties back into the question about what makes a great collection and sort of how a great collection can be made from just a few humble pieces or from big extravagant pieces. And in the same way here, limitations. The limitations are what define what we do as collectors and how we navigate within them. Is I think limitations are essential. I think limitations are underrated.
I love that. That's a zag right there. I like it.
Yeah, the zag into poverty. All right. Next up, we have the Cardfather 13, who says, "I always savor, relish, and exalt in the show." I don't know what that word means. My offbeat crossover question for tonight is this: if you could have one coffin card, what would it be and why? But please factor in the following. Nobody will be able to exhume your body in an attempt to grave rob. So by selecting this card, you will be removing it completely and finally from the hobby forever. So you can either choose to pick your favorite card, or you can zag and pick a card that you hate so much that you would die a martyr to remove the card from the hobby.
That's genius. I like that last part.
Yeah, he's like, you die a hero and remove a terrible card from the hobby.
I'm taking the Steph Curry Superfractor rookie. You guys are never getting that thing.
Let's go. See, okay, now that is the zag. The zag is taking a great card out of the hobby just to block anybody from being able to get it.
He blocked LeBron from 3 championships. Time to block him.
Now we are cooking. So in that spirit, how about I take that Luca Prism Black to the grave with me? Nobody's ever seen it anyway. Let's just get that thing out of here. Let's leave that a mystery forever. Let's just cock block every Luca collector. That's what I'm here
the
title. Christina?
I'm going to take name any particular green kaboom. One of one.
It's got to be the messy.
Yeah, like, oh, Rodman is going to flip. Yes, I will take the messy green kaboom. One of one. Thank you. I will be the petty one.
Josh will enter the afterlife fueled by a pile of kabooms. Or a pyre. I don't know what that word means. Pyre.
Like when you effigy,
like
when you
heap
burn.
of combustible material. Josh will. Oh, that's great. All right. Well, I'm learning many new words tonight, which I love. Okay. Moving on. WNBAcards.com. If a player does not have, okay, so this is in reference to Asia Wilson. If a player does not have a rookie year 1 of 1, which Asia Wilson does not, and there is only one parallel of that rookie card, which is her Rittenhouse parallel. But the first 1 of 1 of her is the first release of a popular set. So the first, I believe that's referring to her first 1 of 1 is a Prism 1 of 1 from like 2020 Prism. I think that might be her first 1 of 1. I think, and if it's not, just go along with it, just to try and make this concrete and less abstract. So what is the best card? The only parallel to her only rookie year card, or her only rookie year base set card, or is it the first 1 of 1 of her from the first release of a popular set? Do you have an opinion on this?
Neither is better. They both are just what you said. One of them is the first year card with the lowest parallel. The second is the first 1 of 1 from, I don't know. It's just like you can't say which one is better.
Yes, exactly. That is exactly where I am too. And it is so much better to be able to say what each card is and let its facts stand rather than substitute that reasoning process. Just say, well, this is better, or this sold for more, or something. All right. I stand with that answer entirely and have nothing to add to it. Mostly Soccer Card says this: it feels like grading scarcity is becoming less emphasized, with the rarity of the card becoming more of a focal point in collecting. For sought-after non-serial numbered cards with print runs in the 100 to 200 range, such as certain 90s basketball inserts, 90s Top Score refractors, and pre-modern soccer inserts, do you feel that PSA 10s will still command a premium in the long term, or will they feel the impact of collectors valuing cards over grade eventually?
I'm just like thinking of myself rocking in my chair, and it's really messing with my brain. I still care about the PSA 10s, but I totally get where this question is coming from. I care a lot less about grading in the last year or so, and it feels so freeing to not have to like worry about building a PSA 10 run of something, you know. But like this DeMarco Murray being a PSA 10, like it makes it more exciting for me to own this one than if it were a PSA 8. It just does. And when I send it in for grading, I hope it gets a PSA 10. So that's like doesn't really answer the question, I guess.
But it taps into something that this question is circling, which is, will a PSA 10, how much does it matter? And you're saying, like, and I agree with this, that all else equal, even with the rarest possible card, a PSA 10 is preferable.
Totally.
So there's always something desirable about a PSA 10, and then translating that onto cards that have, you know, print runs in the 100, 200 range, like what this question is referring to. The PSA 10 is still certainly adding rarity and creating a strata that of this card that's there are just X PSA 10s, and that rarity is certainly part of the desirability of it. And in terms of like forecasting, you know, how much are people going to care about that or not care about that going forward? I think the safe bet here is that it's that the like, if rarity is the name of the game, rarity is being created by having a copy of a card in the highest grade. And also that card being in that high grade means that the condition that it's in is probably quite nice too, which is what Josh was referring to. That nice condition is still something that has intrinsic value as well. So I'm hesitant to make any bold predictions there. I think highest grade of cards is always going to be in demand. But I think it's a good question, something worth thinking about. That I don't think I've made any final say here. I'm going to keep thinking about that. All right, next one up is from Wax Junkie Muser, who says, should Card Ladder revisit its position on verifying private sales in light of several large recent private sales that are becoming part of an index? This presumably is referring to the Wondershine Index, which will presumably be used for selling fractional ownership and or asset-backed lending. Verifying multi-million-dollar card sales that oftentimes establish the only public comp for a card by reviewing screenshots of an invoice and a wire transfer is not very persuasive evidence. How about a policy of only verifying private sales of cards that are facilitated by a qualified independent intermediary? And so I followed up with the asker of this question, who's a great
Wait, let me
crossover listener.
guess. The asker of this question is about to announce that they're becoming an independent, like, third party.
No, but they are a CPA.
And they're launching a business tomorrow.
No, but they are a CPA. They are on. That's funny, but they are CPA. They are on high alert about irregularities and or manipulating documents, manipulating accounting practices to sort of make things look one way. So there's a special level of insight and expertise that's coming here, and that they're bringing to this topic. And they make good points here that we're thinking about. And so I followed up and I said, well, what is an example of such a qualified intermediary? And they named a popular auction house. And sort of they said, well, that auction house could charge a fee, and then people come in and they do the swap with the auction house, and then the auction house certifies that the swap happened. And so look, I mean, is that even leveling things up a step further? Yes, I think it is. Yes.
Is it
Christina?
though? Well, I was just gonna say, is it though? Because like, if you're paying someone to just verify it, wouldn't that then make them have a conflict of interest? Like,
well,
pay
no, not
me
necessarily.
$1,000 and I'll say that you totally paid that much money.
No, I mean, well, yes, that certainly introduces a new level, a new way of corrupting things. And the more robust the verification process seems to be, the more powerful it is as a tool to dupe people if it's used improperly. And so that's a good zag. Another zag is that people can manipulate that process too, folks. People can make the transaction. They can swap the funds. They can do it in front of people at a marketplace, and it can be a sham transaction. They can swap those funds right back to each other right after it's done. So I admire and I like and I relate to the desire to perfect this and to just design a system that completely makes it impossible for people to manipulate it. But that is not going to exist. And it doesn't matter if it's a private comp. It doesn't matter if it goes through 8 layers of verification. It doesn't matter if it's done by your favorite marketplace. The opportunity to manipulate that is going to exist, and bad actors will be able to do it, just like they can do it with public sales, just like they can do it with comps, just like they can do it with any sale you look at in any database ever. There's a ripe opportunity for people to manipulate that. And to the rest of this, I would love if we didn't we spend hours and hours every week looking at private sales. I'd love to have those hours back. But there are other people who are on the other side of this equation who are saying, and applying a forceful critique that says there's a lot of private sales happening, guys, and collectors deserve to know about it. And right now, sort of private sales, sometimes they only get circulated among the in-the-know crowd, and it leaves out other people. And if the whole hobby had better access to insight into what's happening with these private sales, then it could help more people make more informed decisions. And it could help democratize information, help more people see more things about what's going on. And so, look, dude, it would be a burden off of our shoulders if the process of evaluating these private sales is rigorous. It is time consuming. It can be frustrating. It is a lot of hand holding. It's a lot of walking through things. It's looking at mind numbing documents. It's a lot, but we do think on balance it's important. Now, the other thing I want to respond to in this question is sort of pointing out that we review screenshots of an invoice and a wire transfer. Correct. Now, why do you know that? It's because the entire process is entirely transparent. We tell you exactly what we look at. And that information is available on any private sale in Card Ladder. If you want to go pull it up right now, here's what you can see on any private sale. You can see the exact documents that we use to verify that sale. And typically it is a screenshots of an invoice and a wire transfer or a PayPal transaction or DMs among a seller and a buyer or something like that. We tell you exactly what we saw so that you as the collector, as the consumer, as the user of the product can independently with maximal transparency decide how you feel about this private sale. Every private sale in Card Ladder is clearly denoted as a private sale. It says in unmistakable font, this is a private sale, and it's indicated in multiple places. Every person who reports a private sale as a Card Ladder must have their name and a social media account on it. They must. That is not negotiable. If you are not willing to put your name on it, if you are not willing to provide an active social media account so the collectors and users of Card Ladder and members of the hobby can directly follow up with you, ask you questions, and get responses from you. If you're not willing to provide that, we are not verifying your private sale. So everything we do around this private sale mechanism is to provide more information, to put this data in front of people in the hobby, but do it in such a transparent way to provide a maximum amount of transparency so that any user of the product, any collector can look at that data and they can evaluate for themselves. Do I want to rely on a sale that was verified through the process of looking at screenshots, looking at an invoice, looking at DMs or whatever the materials are that we use? Do I want to follow up with this person? What do I feel about the reputation of this person who has reported it? What do I know about their motives, about their intentions? We try to give the maximum amounts of context and transparency possible so that at the end of the day, as harkening back to the very first topic on this show, we are providing you with as much information as possible. And then ultimately the end collector makes the decision. The end collector decides what to do with this information and how to use it. I'm out of breath.
Let me just say that there are 8 requirements for submitting a private sale. They're all listed on our FAQs on Card Ladder, and they're listed out very quickly and easily digestible. Like there's no lawyer speak or anything. Please read that before you submit a private sale. Don't make me message you multiple times for different numbers that you're not like providing us.
Spectacles and the spreadsheet have been heard from.
Yeah.
Josh, you want to add anything onto this?
I asked ChatGPT what are some characteristics of being on the spectrum, and I think I might be.
Josh, it's called a spectrum because everyone's on it.
Everyone is on it.
Everyone is on it. That's why it's called a spectrum. Like, so it's just like, how far on the spectrum are you?
It felt very pointed.
I know, Josh, but like, honestly, like, I'm on the spectrum. Chris is on the spectrum. Pretty much anyone who collects is on the spectrum. So, like, you're in good company.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
Strong, logical, or pattern-based thinking, often great at noticing details or inconsistencies others miss.
Yeah.
Repetitive behaviors such as rocking or repeating certain phrases.
Oh, not the rocking. Oh no.
It says may struggle with small talk. That's a fact.
I mean, who doesn't? It's so pointless.
Okay, just go. Go to the next question.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
going to punctuate my reply to the wax junkie muser here, who is providing some criticisms of the private sale process. We have an open forum. We receive questions like this. We will read it in front of our audience. We will discuss it. We'll give our points of view, and then we will take it back. We will reflect on it, and we will solicit further opinions. So I do appreciate the points. I share the concerns. That are being shared by the question here. And, we try to strike a balance, right? Like we want to provide data to people, but we want it to be credible and we want it to be reliable. But we also acknowledge that we could be duped or that there could be bad actors acting here. So we give the maximum transparency. And a final note that I'll add is this. In the context of private sales that are then being publicly disclosed, if something were to happen, such as the fabrication of data surrounding a private sale or some sort of misleading inducement around trying to get the public to go along with a private sale, and then that data is used to create some sort of financial instrument, and then it later turns out that there was manipulation or something illicit being done in the reporting of that private sale, that private sale is public. There is a record of it, the dates of it, the instruments used. There's a record of all of that stuff. If something illicit, if something immoral, if something unethical, if something potentially illegal is going on, the record is being created. And I'm not familiar with this particular area of law, this particular area of accounting practices. I don't know exactly how the law regulates and treats things like this, but I would suspect that there could be a very big penalty and very severe consequences for somebody who is manipulating a system like that. So by it being databased and by it being reported and by it being done with maximal transparency, I do believe that that is providing a level of exposure and laying bare for the public and for any future investigation of this information to sort of a paper trail has been created. So I that's another thought that I have too, and that's a counsel and advice for people who are thinking about publicizing their private sales and then using them to create financial instruments in the future, which is a very specific situation that Wax Junkie Muser has brought up, and that is, and he's right to bring it up because that does appear to be the case. My suspicion is that if there is manipulation or misrepresentation going on in that process, that there could be very severe consequences for doing that. All right. Let's, Josh, how many more would you like to get to, man?
Scroll down a bit. Let me see if I see one that jumps out.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to talk about eye appeal anymore.
Okay.
Uh,
Here's a fun one. What do you think about this? From
Yeah.
Bye Bye Baby Cards.
we got to do the Marshawn Flinch finite.
Okay. All right. Let's do this one, and then we'll.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
You got it already.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Andy says this. How much do you love those cold DMs of someone trying to sell you a card that is nowhere near the realm of the type of cards that you collect? So basically, this is like what you get when you click like messages, like in your when you venture into that area of your Instagram of message requests, and you click in to see one. And Andy's referring to one where somebody was proposing a Squidward card or something. He says basically what I need to know: should I ignore this cold call DM, or should I just Marshawn finite this shit and jump on this one-of-one sketch card of Krusty the Krab? That's right, it was Krusty the Krab, a card that was being offered to him.
Yeah, it was like the SpongeBob Topps Chrome release. I think someone like cold offered him he showed me the screenshot. It's like, hey, I thought you might be interested in this. I didn't look at your page, obviously, because that wouldn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah,
I told him to mess with the guy. I was like, dude, see how far you can string him along on this.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like especially when the message is like some guy, like he's like, hey, you buying? It's like there's like 5 images of junk.
I would recommend not stringing him along, because if you potentially make an offer, then there is a contract if he accepts it. So, and it's in writing. Like, I'm just saying, also, he could like take that screenshot and then be like, oh, this guy or girl said they were going to buy this card, and then they like decided not to, and then blast you for it. I get a lot of these from random people who don't even follow the Card Ladder account on Card Ladder, and it's like, guy, we don't buy cards.
People ask how they can sell their cards on Card Ladder.
Yeah, I get a lot of that as well.
Sometimes people use the private sales process to submit cards that they are not trying to verify sale of, but that are for sale. That's not what the private sale is, folks.
Yeah.
That's how people use eBay sometimes.
Yeah.
They want to buy cards and they'll post that they're selling something. The opposite.
Yeah, there's still a handful of nice collections from this week and a few that were left over from last week, but I'm getting to that point where I'm ready to wind down. Does anybody have an appetite for another question, or are you with me and we can go ahead and let's wrap up this episode?
I'm looking at these starred comments, and we got some winners.
Let's move on. Let's move on to naming this episode. We have 19 starred options, Christina.
We're doing things. Somebody's got to carry the show. Card ladder, one word.
I like that one. Just flagging because there's
really
19, right? There's 19, so I want to
So
flag. That one.
remember, like write it down or something.
You should star it. Star it in the.
I can't star. It'll unstar it if I try and star it.
Okay.
Empower them to empower themselves.
She thought I was serious.
Oh.
It's like I'm trying. It's not working.
Maybe I'm the one on the spectrum. Okay. I know I am. Stewards of the hobby.
Stewarts or stewards?
I said stewards.
What if we all were named Stewart? That would go with the S theme.
That would be bad.
Go on.
This is why I don't stay on the screen the whole time. With great power comps great responsibility. I
It's good.
stormed the stage just in case this goes viral. Genuine irritability.
Yeah.
Comp world. Two bitters go nuts. I feel like I'm playing this podcast at 1.5x.
Star that.
I can't throw my hypocrisy in my face. Sympathetic to the comment section. Curmudgeons stay through multiple eras.
That's just such a funny thing out of context. And he's got the
This-
little dinosaur with it. It's great.
The spreadsheet, the spectrum, and the spectacles. SP3. My autistic brain has no limitations. Top block every Luca collector.
Best
So that was-
offering of titles ever.
Yeah, that was really good. I have so many that I like.
Yeah.
I like cock-blocking Luca, autistic brain limitations, spreadsheet, spectrum, spectacles, curmudgeons, eras, sympathetic to comment section, podcast at 1.5x, and just in case this goes viral. And then what was the one at the top? Card ladder.
Do anything
The
with
lowercase L.
with the
Those are my
lowercase
favorites.
L. Can
Yeah,
I
those are
tell
all my
you how
favorites.
many emails I get that like I'm like, how do you not know the name of this company?
All right, everybody cast a vote. What do you want?
Oh, we get one vote.
Christina, do you have one?
Um,
Or maybe give a few. Give like one for first and second or something.
okay. Well, what about you? Go ahead. You go lead us off.
My favorite is card ladder, one word, because that's an epic joke among us. And my second choice, spreadsheet, spectrum, and spectacles. Like that's insane. That's the most insane comment I've ever got.
I feel like we could use the card letter one whenever.
Yeah.
We're never gonna recreate that insane.
No, dude, no. That was just some guy
10-minute
named Peanut
derailment.
Butter. I don't know if I've ever seen this guy comment before. Just
I've
fucking
no,
Peanut Butter.
he's never they've never commented. So it was definitely like
Unreal.
someone
It's fantastic.
making a like we should find his channel. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the spreadsheet, the spectacle, or the spectrum and the spectacles.
Okay, so that was my second vote. What do you, Josh? Do you have a vote, a first and a second? That was my second place
Well,
vote.
I don't want to make this all about me, but I like the autistic brain with no limitations, but we probably shouldn't put the word autistic in our title. Let's do this spreadsheet, spectrum, and spectacles.
There it is. There you have it, folks.
It's
Thank
got
you,
to be
Peanut
the
Butter.
spreadsheet, the spectrum, and the spectacles.
Yeah.
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it has to be precise, right, Josh?
What's the emoji for? Yeah, right. Yeah. One of the big things
The
is that you don't
puzzle.
like change. You don't like change. I definitely don't like change.
It should be the puzzle piece. That's the autistic.
Yeah, it should be like a spreadsheet notepad thing, the puzzle piece, and glasses.
So an emoji for so the first three emoji title, perhaps.
Or the third one could be like an explosion emoji.
Because I'm the drama.
The spectacle.
That's right. We
I
don't,
think it's the spectacles. If there's an
It
S, I
is.
think
It's
I
plural.
think it's the glasses.
Yep, it is. It's the
Yeah, but
spec-
like,
And you-
is it like multiple drama?
But you also like had 2 or 3 comments this week about how you couldn't see. So maybe
I
they were
think I
keying
did.
in on that.
I think I made one of those before we went on live. So it was
Maybe.
only one. But yeah.
All right, folks. We got a title. We have emojis. Well done, Stiff. Arm wax. It's going to do
Peanut
it.
butter.
It's going to do it. NBA opening week. Next week. Maybe no crossover, honestly. We're going to see.
I'm
All right.
I'm never eating peanut butter again.
Sorry, Jif. Sorry. What's the other peanut butter company? All right.
Skippy.
Huh?
Skippy.
Skippy. All right. Take care, guys.